Good morning and welcome to day 9 of this 30-day adventure to great photos. I hope you're having an amazing day and that yesterday the quest for stories went well. I know it's not an easy exercise for many because it really pushes you to think differently about our photos, but this is exactly what we're here for. Remember that concept about visualizing, seeing and capturing? The goal is that no matter what kind of camera we're using, we're really able to take better, more impactful photos. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what tool you're using, if it's a small hammer or a big hammer or a medium-sized hammer. The most important is what are you going to try to build behind. Remember that, don't dismiss those exercises, as simple as sometimes they might be and as tempting as it might be to use your big camera. This section is essential. It is crucial to go through in that order and you will realize fully why at the end of the 30 days. You know, I have students from the first seasons that still email me or send me messages months and years later telling me that this training really changed their understanding of photography and their vision and how they approach things. So please don't dismiss it. Now let's get back to today. And today we're going to be talking about shadows. Oh yeah, I love talking about shadows for several reasons. Shadows really create something amazing in photos. It has many use cases to create beautiful photos. How and why? Let's dig into it. First of all, shadows will add drama and mystery to your photo. With shadows, you're able to isolate objects and you're also able to mask part of your image. Why? Simply because you can put anything you don't want in the shadows and expose for the brightest part, or you can use those shadows actually to add stuff. For example, that doesn't look very dramatic, but if I turn off that light and use that part where I have strong shadows on that side of the face, it suddenly looks completely different. You get a different feeling, you get a different tone. And like we said yesterday, this is what it's all about really giving a feeling to your viewer. Are you able to pass the right feeling to your viewer that you have in mind? Working with shadows is one way in your toolkit as a photographer to get there, okay? So let me show you a few examples and it's going to make it a lot easier for you to really grasp the concept and go on your own. When I was walking recently in the streets with my wife, I noticed under that bridge that we had some really strong shadows that were defining the whole scene and lighting up in a very interesting way that section. So I took that quick photo of her, realized those shadows, and I saw that little bridge with an opening with the light in the background and everything was getting really dark around. I was like, ooh, I can use that frame to put myself there and do my jumping pose that I really like, that I have in all my intros, and do it in that little box of light, and I'm going to be as a shadow. I'm going to be a silhouette jumping, and everything in that frame, all the shadows are going to mask the uninteresting parts and help us focus directly on me jumping. And this is that contrast between shadow and light that really helps us see that photo a lot more easily. Remember, when you have direct light, you get strong shadows, and that adds layer into your images. Let me show you an example right here on that photo. In Indonesia, that feeling of being in Indiana Jones. Remember, well, myself and my wife, we are in that path of light and everything else is in dark shadows so that it doesn't distract us from the most important part in that image. It also adds a lot of drama. It makes it very scenic. Another example with that photo, it was during the Henge in Chicago, which is a phenomenon when the sun aligns with the avenues, we get that really long shadow happening around sunset time with everything, and we get that golden hour. It's just so beautiful. Highly recommend, if you can find it in your city, to shoot at that time of the year. So we have the people walking by and their shadows play a huge role in that image. I really wanted, first of all, to darken everything that wasn't adding in my photo, so making sure it was staying in the shadows. And here we have a really interesting duality between the people walking and the shadows walking. So it adds another dimension, another layer into my image. It makes you also wonder, are those people the same? It's almost as if I could flip that image and see those people walk by, and it would be a completely different world in a way, and that photo could still work. So this is what I like to do with strong shadows, is play with it, either to really hide part in an image or add some drama and add some layers. This is a great way to add that dimension into your photo. And everything that's in the background, as you can see, is also kind of silhouetted, meaning in the shadows. So it doesn't distract too much from that brightest point and that brightest point here, where we can really refocus on our subjects, which is that group walking by. I hope this is clear. Now, your mission for today is going to walk around with your phone for the whole day and capture the shadows. I want you to find those spots of shadows and use harsh shadows to give the viewer a certain emotion. I want you to think about it, either to mask part of your image or really add drama into your image. And at the end of the day, maybe reflect on your photo and ask yourself, okay, how did I use shadows? How did I capture those shadows? And what would I have done differently? How could I have made it better? You're going to use your phone as usual, and remember to get really dark shadows. Just tap on the brightest spot in your image so that you expose for the light and the shadows get really dark. Now, good luck with that mission. Remember, share what you're capturing with the group so that we can all enjoy it and give you a little bit of feedback. Have an amazing day. See you in the next episode. Bye.